all about flavour in the kitchen this week, and I wanted to share with you one of my go-to curry pastes, because to make your own curry paste is a joy. It is not only, of course, for making curries, a spoonful when you're actually making a homemade soup, especially a lentil soup. Oh my goodness, it's just gorgeous. So we're going to start with some spices. So over here, I have some black peppercorn, I have some cumin and some coriander. So I'm going to get my pan on, medium to high heat, and we should be good to go. And in she goes. There we are. And you just toast away. Now, the heat of the pan releases the oils from the spices, and that's what gives you that lovely nutty flavour and that wonderful aroma. And you'll know they're just about ready. You'll see a slight wisp of smoke coming, and that'll tell you it's time to whip it off. Don't let them cool in the pan, because if you do, they'll keep on cooking. And over to my pestle and mortar. And in they go. And I just want to grind them down a bit. Perfect. Loving this. There we go. I don't know if you can see these. I will bring them forward and tilt them. And you see right down the bottom there? That is my gorgeous spice mix. So now, next thing. Everything else happens in the food processor. So it's a case of building up my layers of ingredients. So you do need a few ingredients for this. But you can work a way around it and figure out a flavouring that works for you. This is very heavy, by the way. You probably gather that by the way I'm managing it. But it is worth having a good, sturdy pestle and mortar. That much I have learned as well over the years. Now, next thing. Okay, this is all straightforward now. It's just a case of roughly chopping ingredients. Some shallots. Don't worry that these aren't cooked off. We are going to just make a paste. So this is a fresh paste. So word of warning, this will not keep forever in your fridge. So you can freeze it. What you can do is put it in a freezer bag or in an old ice cube tray, because your ice cubes will never smell the same again if you use it for this. But it's well worth freezing them, and then you can just pop them from the freezer into the base of your soup as you're starting. Next, we want a little bit of lemongrass. Now, lemongrass for me, I tend to have quite a bit, but one of the things I find with lemongrass is I try to grow it in the garden, not massively successfully, but when you buy lemongrass, you have to buy it in bundles, and a lot of the recipes only call for one. So I actually freeze it. Now, when you freeze it, I will stress, it does lose a little bit of colour, it doesn't lose its flavour. So don't be afraid to pop it in the freezer. There we go, so lemongrass goes in. Garlic, just roughly chop our garlic. There we go, in that goes. Next, I have a little bit of tomato puree. Pop that in. Chilli, ginger and turmeric. Chili's next. Seeds in or seeds out? Well, for me, it's seeds out. These are those little small ones, so I know these are fairly potent. So I am going to be less brave and take the seeds out. So it's just a case of flattening them out and rubbing the knife along the membrane in the centre, and the seeds just come out attached to it. There we go. So let's roughly chop these. Ginger also, you can freeze. So I have some here, and I defrosted a little bit. Now I could have grated it from frozen either, but I bought a large quantity of it and I only needed a thumb size for a particular recipe. So I just popped it in the freezer, and it's defrosted now. It's never the same when it's defrosted texture-wise, but in a curry paste, it won't matter. It's going to be ground down. There we go. So in that goes. Next, a little bit of brown sugar. Some lemon juice. I'm only going to put in like about a tablespoon of lemon juice to start with. Some lime zest, because lime is going to be great in this. Love the flavour of lime. There we go. Going for it all. This is just a little bit of zing. The ingredient then that goes in after this is turmeric. So you may have some ground turmeric at home in the press, But fresh turmeric is actually really easily available in the supermarket, surprisingly easy. You've probably already learned as well, though, if you've managed to handle turmeric, it leaves an awful mess. So I am going to move to Cheat's Corner, and I am going to put on some gloves for handling my turmeric, because I don't want yellow hands today. And of course, the warmer the limes are, the better too, because you get more juice out of them. So in goes all of that. There we go. And now, this is where I pop on my gloves and start with the turmeric. I'm leaving nothing to chance with this turmeric. So I just a small piece of it, and take the where do we have it now? Little teaspoon. Oh, we can take one of these ones. To get the skin off, it's quite handy just to go with a teaspoon and pull it down like that. You see? That's quite an efficient way of getting the skin off. So away she goes, and we just roughly chop it. And then you can get rid of these much sought after gloves. Look at the colour. Not a good look. So now, finally, we're popping in some oil, and we'll wait and see how it goes, because it depends really on how well everything got measured. But the other thing I like to put in is a bit of red pepper, because this gives it a little bit of sweetness as well, nice bit of texture. So I think this works very nicely in it. Sometimes as well I put in a bit of coriander. I just kind of play with it a little bit, but this will get me started. There we go. And I'm going to pop in just a little bit of salt as well. Lid on, and we will go. See how we get on? There we go. That's looking good. It's nice and loose as well. That will be brought about by not only the juice that I put in of the lemon and the lime, but also the red pepper was quite moist. I could feel it when I was popping it in. Let's have a look now, see how we're doing. That's looking very nice. No, I'm very happy with that. That's lovely. But can I suggest to you, just for yourselves at home, to fry off a little bit of that with some vegetables or with a little bit of chicken, and just check it for yourselves and be sure that you're happy, because maybe you might like, I only put 2 chilies in, maybe you'd like more in there, maybe you'd like chili powder in there, you know, or maybe chili flakes. It's up to yourself as to how you want to build it. Some people would put maybe some ground coriander in there, excuse me, some fresh coriander in there as well. We have ground coriander in. So you can play with this as you want yourself. But I'll put the full recipe up anyway, and some tips as well on how you can play with it. So this is it now. And I'm just going to pop this in my jar. And remember, this is a fresh ingredient. So this is going to keep in the fridge, but only for a limited time. So I would say after 3 days, you would want to have used this, or it would want to be in the freezer. So you get quite a bit for your effort. But remember, it's not very potent. There's only 2 chilies in there. So you'd need a good few tablespoons of this in a recipe. And that's it. That there is my homemade red curry paste. Hope you enjoy it.